The views expressed on the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of KGO TV, the American Broadcasting Companies, or its sponsors.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Nairobi Productions, this is your moderator, Donald Warden, welcoming you to another program of Black Dignity. This Sunday afternoon will be our most spectacular program. It will be our best program. It will be the program that you will remember the rest of your lives. It will be the program in which Black Dignity, in perspective, presents James Brown. Before we get into our program and opportunity to talk with our guests, I would like to just mention a thing about education and something about Black history. Throughout the United States today, Black history is more popular than at any other period. And the popularity of Black history is attributable to a number of forces, but primarily because young people want to know who they are. They want a sense of identity. They want a sense of direction. And we on the Black Dignity program have maintained that Black history is necessary for the entire development of the Black man in America. And along with Black history, there must come direction. There must come some avenue whereby a person can use the history to be inspired, to be motivated. And for that reason, we would like to recommend, especially to the college students. There are many Black college students throughout the United States who have decided that they wanted to further their mental ability and they want to prepare themselves for the future. Some of them, upon entering university, are not sure what they want to study. Should they major in physics? Should they major in chemistry? Should they major in engineering? And it is becoming popular for many of the students to say, I know what I'll do. I'll major in Black history. And I can understand the feeling. They want to make a contribution. They want to help. They want to develop. But I would like to caution you that if you major in Black history, not taking one course or two courses, not becoming familiar with Black history, but if you major in Black history, it means that when you graduate, you must look for a job as a teacher. That's about the only kind of job you will receive. So what we want to do is to kind of look back at our situation, look at the want ads, and find out what our race really needs. If you want to know where the greatest demand for employment is, look at the want ads. I don't care whether you're Chinese, Japanese, Jewish, Black, white. The want ads reflect demand. It says in effect to you, this is what we need. That's industry's voice. That's commerce's voice to you. And when you look at the want ad, you will seldom see a want ad for someone who has a degree in Black history because the demand is not great. You do find degrees for engineering. You find demands for physicists. You find demands for writers. So what we must do is look at our entire race and look at ourselves. We say that we want a certain percentage of our people majoring in Black history so that they can become experts. So that when the students demand Black instructors, we will have Black instructors to teach. And we want a certain percentage of our race majoring in science, physics, and engineers. The world that we live in the next 20 years will not be like today. People are now going to the moon. That means big steel contracts. It means engineering firms. It means jobs for physicists and engineers. We should not permit anyone to go up in space as astronauts without at least one Black man present. The 3 astronauts will be millionaires. There is no way to avoid it. The big industrial firms will hire them as consultants. Engineering firms will say, will you just let us use your name? The world of atomic physics and nuclear hydrogen power will be the world of the future. So our race must prepare now. We need at least 50% of our race in sciences. It means that the young people who are listening to this radio broadcast today, when you're ready to go to school, when the counselor didn't advise you properly, and your mother and father didn't advise you properly, what I want to tell you from Black Dignity is you must major in those areas that have skills that will build our race, make it strong. Don't forget business administration. 25% of our race should be majoring in business administration. That means accounting. That means if you're right now in the 3rd or 4th or 5th grade in school, and the teacher says that we're going to give you a math problem, do page 1 through 10, do page 1 through 20, because that's just how bad you are. And that means that you are preparing yourself for the accounting courses, for the marketing courses, for the corporate finance courses. We need 10% of our race in stocks and bonds and securities who know and know that they know. We need bankers. We will take the remaining percentage of our race and let them be the teachers. Let them be the social workers. But the bulk of the race must allocate their energies. The last thing I'm going to say, for this to be done, it means that the young people, the persons in college must ask themselves, in the last month, how many books have you read? With all the college demonstrations, I'm reminded at the University of California when they had college demonstrations, the white students, Mario Savio, Ab Thecker's daughter, they were still A students. Even though they demonstrated, they went home at night and still read because they said, I must have information so that I could lead properly. I ask that everyone examine themselves. In the midst of demonstrations and student strikes, how many books are you reading? How far are you developing your mind? These questions I cannot answer for you, but what I can tell you, that preparation and dignity permits you, as one of the most powerful black men America has said, you can say it loud because you will truly be black and proud. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with our guest James Brown after this message.
I was in the middle of my senior year when I dropped out.
I just wound up in the street doing nothing. You have to have experience for it, and you have to have a certain amount of years in school.
I just haven't been able to make it. And then my friends told me about the Job Corps.
I came here to you to see if I can help myself.
If you left school and you're between 16 and 22, Job Corps will teach you the skills that can help you get a good job, just like it's helped a lot of others just like you.
I'm going to have to work to support myself all throughout my life.
I came in here because they said they were going to help me and they were going to give me a little money.
I don't really know what I do want to do.
I'm a human being like everybody else, and I think I deserve another chance to help myself.
In Job Corps, you live at a Job Corps center, get free medical and dental care, clean clothes, your own bed to sleep in, 3 square meals a day. You even get paid while you're learning. Job Corps will give you a chance, just for once. Give yourself a chance. Write Job Corps, Washington, D.C.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. You say that Donald Warden's going to talk and talk and talk about James Brown and just monopolize all the time. You're almost right, but I'm not going to do it now. What I'm going to do is just tell you that this is James Brown. And I'm going to tell you at 4:30 we're going to do something a little extra special. And right now what I want you to do is to get on the phones. And I'm going to give you the numbers where you can reach us. The numbers to call us are 478-3333 for everyone in San Francisco. Call now. The numbers for the East Bay, 832-9511. And the numbers in the Peninsula is 344-1109. And while you're dialing, I would like to say to the white and the black community that I'm slightly nervous. And the reason is that it's not every day that a black man has the opportunity to sit in the presence of a giant. And to the black community, you know what I'm talking about. Little 3-year-old kids saying, soul brother number one. Some in the white community didn't recognize that the man who is sitting to my left is the most powerful black man in America. I've been throughout the country, I've been throughout the world, I know the race, I know the leaders. This is not only soul brother number one in rhythm and blues, but there is no man in our race who has gone as far as he has gone, who has the love and the support of young and old. I know of no man. I know of no man. And it's for that reason that it is a tremendous honor for me to welcome James Brown to Black Dignity. Thank you, Brother Don. All right, we're ready to go for some calls, and I want you to talk to James and ask whatever you want. Hello, this is Don Warden. We're on Black Dignity.
Hi. Mr.
Yes.
Warden?
Yes, you're on the air.
Talk to James Brown, please.
I beg your pardon?
Could I talk to James Brown?
Yes, you're talking to him right now. Go right ahead.
Hi, Mrs. So.
How you feel?
How are you?
Fine.
I saw you on TV the other night, and I was wondering, how did you feel singing without your band?
Well, I felt fine. I know that a man has to believe in himself, and I wasn't as comfortable as I would have been with my own outfit, but I had myself there, and I had to do what I had to do, because I know you would be proud of me if I made it. If I blew, then the whole world would be looking down. So regardless of where I'm at and what I got with me, I got to do my thing.
Right on, brother.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I would like to say, Don, your last 3 shows have just been tremendous.
Thank you very much, sister.
And I don't know how it's possible, but they really are getting better. And as for James Brown, I'd like to say that all I have to do is listen to one of his records or just see him, and I really do feel black and proud.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yeah, hello. Can I speak to James Brown?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, what's happening, James?
How you feel, brother?
All right. I just wanted to ask you one question. I'd like to know why you got your process cut.
Well, this is a black move, and regardless of what you're thinking, we've all got to think one way. And if we look alike, we can think alike.
Yeah,
environment is a great thing.
Wanted to see because, the way I see it, it's really what's in your mind that counts. It's not, the way,
Well, the mind counts, but see, we all don't have a good image. And the image is like black. We've never thought together. In Africa, a man can do what he want to do because he knows who he is. But over here, you don't know. So first, we got to get an image, an identity. And that's where we got to think one way. So my head doesn't mean anything when my race and my manhood is at stake.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'll be at your concert tonight.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Say it loud.
All right, bye.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, how do you do? I would like to say to James Brown that it was great of him, to perform as Santa Claus for the kids in the ghetto.
Yes.
And I think it was quite great in him as also a magician, the things that he do for the black kids and also for himself as a man and the black race, and also he's a great fellow.
All right, thank you very much for calling. James, could you give us some idea, why did you decide to be a black Santa Claus and go straight to the ghetto?
Well, I think, number one, as far as I can remember back, Santa Claus has always been like it's a fantasy thing, and we never could really get a hold to it. The kids really never identified with it, And there's no reason why a black man should have everything he wants to. We never did get a chance to change Santa Claus, so I figured I would change him.
All right. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hi. I'd like to talk to James Brown.
All right, go right ahead.
Okay, I'd like to ask him just what did he think Real Soul was?
Real soul?
Uh-huh.
All right, Mr. Brown?
I think real soul is you. The way you feel. Tell it like it is. Real soul is when you don't dress it up, Just let yourself go.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, Mr. Warden. I'd like to ask 2 things of you and Mr. Brown. First of all, I'd like to invite Mr. Brown to come to San Mateo and visit the youngsters at Turnbull Junior High School. And secondly, I want to know if either of you are going to celebrate January 15th, which is Martin Luther King's birthday.
I'll be celebrating it.
Oh, many of you.
And I'm sure Mr. Warden will, and I'm sure most of black people will. Now, Negroes and colored people might not do it.
Great. Well, most of the people here in San Mateo are going to take off that day. We're not going to work. We're going to celebrate this day. Since in February we have 2 dates for Washington and Lincoln, I think January 15th is a much better date and a day that I want to take off, and I hope that everyone else in the Bay Area will be thinking about it.
All right, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I'd like to say hello to James Brown.
Hi.
Could I say hello to James Brown?
Go right ahead.
Hello.
Yes, I'd like to say that I knew you when you were in Georgia. My name is, may I tell my name?
Sure. Yes, please.
Ethel Smith. You started out in Macon, Georgia.
Yes, I did.
When you first started singing Please, Please, and went to New York.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that I'm very proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Do your thing from now on.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Oh, good evening, Donald. I'd like to ask Mr. Brown, will he be singing at the inauguration? And if so, what will he be singing? I have a comment about the songs that maybe he should sing.
Well, number one, I'll sing Black and Proud.
Pardon me?
I'll sing Black and Proud.
Well, I think, that I'm black and I'm proud. Just emphasize that, if you could sing, to emphasize that we're black and we're proud by singing that we were born free, this is my country, and that the black people are truly living the impossible dream.
I like the things you said that was recorded by black people, but I would rather for Mr. Curtis Mayfield to do this in my country, because this is him, and he have a way of putting it over. I recorded a tune some time back called America's My Home.
Yes.
And it was a little too early, and I felt kind of bad because a lot of people thought that maybe the brother went to another thing. But I was like saying, I hated to start on first base. I mean, on first base when we were so far away from that. But I had to go back and say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. See, I've been black and proud all my life.
That's right. That's what I can't seem to understand. As the teenagers nowadays, I've never wanted to be anything but black, and I always believe that being black was the most beautiful thing in the world. And everything you sing, Mr. Brown, is really beautiful, and you keep up the good work. And Mr. Warden is keeping the faith here in Oakland, and just get up there January 20th and say, I'm black and I'm proud, and all black people will have a tear in their eye.
And I'll say it loud, too.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for calling. Ladies and gentlemen, we should point out that it is very significant that a black man can be invited to the presidential inauguration and not have to sing songs that no one knows what he's singing. You can sing a tune and make that tune such that no one understands what you're doing. But anytime you get a man, and you must understand that when you get an opportunity to sing before the nation and the world, then you have pressure on you. People are saying, please do this, but don't do this, don't mess up. This is your greatest opportunity. Don't make a mistake. And here's a black man that says that when my biggest opportunity comes to talk to the world, I have a message for the world. A message that requires volume. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. And that's why we love him so much, because the man is inspiring millions. When President Kennedy was inaugurated, he made references to the Irish, and all the Irish were excited. When Mayor Aliotta in San Francisco was elected mayor, he made references to the Italians, and the Italians were excited. Now, at last, we got a brother that can make a reference to us, and we are excited. Let's take another call. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I was wondering to ask Mr. Brown, what record really made him big?
All right, Mr. Brown.
Well, I can't say one record, because then I'd be summing up soul and making it such a small thing. It wouldn't mean nothing. I got 21 years of show business, and I had to fight every step of the way. I think every record that I sold, every record that I sang, every show that I played, every audience that dug James Brown, that do dig James Brown, is the thing that make me big. I think people make me big, and I don't think a record could do it alone.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes?
Yes, you're on the air, sir.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir?
I would like to ask you, what do you think, how far a child should go starting from grammar school going through high school, and what part? How much?
I don't think it should stop. I think it should continue.
I mean about history in school, you know, from grammar school up through high school, how far?
I don't really understand what he's saying.
I'm not sure I understand. If I understand
I don't understand
correctly,
the question myself.
You're asking how far a person should study history through school? Hello?
Yes.
What is your question? Or why are you thinking we'll take another question?
Well, you start in school, you know, and they start from the beginning, you know, where they were tribes in Africa fighting and things like that, and then slavery and things like that.
You mean how far should you go into it? Are you asking how far you should go into it?
I think that must be his question. How far one should go into the history? Should they start all the way in Africa and come through the black man's existence in the United States today, or start just in slavery?
The alphabet starts with A.
Yes, that's what I would like to know.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello. This is Tina. I would like to say hi to James Brown.
Thank hi.
And I want to say that I enjoy all his music, and I have most of his records. And I'm from Georgia myself, and I can't hear very well. I have a hearing aid on, but I can't hear the program very well, but I hear his records very good, because I turn my jukebox up high as I can.
No, because you got soul.
And I just want to say I love you, I dig your music, and keep up the good work, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You have a question or comment?
Yes, I would like to know, I would like to ask James Brown, do he support the strike at San Francisco State?
Well, I'm not too familiar with everything about it. I'd have to get some more information on it, but I support right.
All right. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
I would like to ask James Brown a question.
All right. What's your question?
I would like to ask, how many records have you made?
That's a good question. It's somewhere over 300 records, I'm sure. 300 songs, not 300 records. Because I got a lot of albums with tunes in it that never been released on a single.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Don?
Yes.
I want to talk to James.
All right. Go right ahead.
Just a minute.
Say it loud now.
Yes. James?
Yes?
How do you like singing?
Oh, I like singing all right. Singing was the first step in getting an identity and getting the audience so I could say what I want to say. Singing was kind of a stepping stone to do the real things that I want to do.
Oh, well, I enjoy listening to your records.
Thank you very much.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity. Hello? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your television down so we can get your call. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed James Brown's music, and I was...
Yes, turn your television down, please.
Am I on television?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed James's music, and I'm hip to his ideas and everything. I think he's right. And I want to know why he cut his hair.
All right, let's let him answer.
I'm black and proud.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello, I wanted to know if it took James Brown very long to make his first record.
All right.
Yes, it did.
It did?
About 8 years.
8 years for your first record?
Yes, don't get impatient.
Oh, and I wanted to tell you that I'm glad that you got rid of the stuff you had in your hair, and I wish everybody would wear a natural and be what they're supposed to be.
I ain't going to get respect.
Huh?
Bye-bye.
And I want to tell you, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a good performance tonight.
All righty.
All right, bye.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity. Hello?
I'd like to speak to Mr. Brown.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'd like to congratulate you, Mr. Brown, on being an outstanding Negro, and I'd like to know your opinion of what you think of a person that wants to go into show business.
Well, first I'd like to say I appreciate the compliment for being an outstanding Negro, but I am an outstanding black man, and show business is something you just have to lay with. There's no special thing that'll put you in it. I can't pinpoint any one thing that would make you a star. You just have to keep with it, stay with it, and believe in yourself, and hope your people take a chance with you as a star.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello, my name is Richard Brown, and I just want to say to you, Donald Warden and James Brown, that you should keep right on and keep up the move with Black and Proud, and that all your shows that you've had on TV so far has been good. Okay, right on.
Thank you very much,
Brother. Very much.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, Don. I tell you, I'm very interested in your program, and I've been watching it, my wife and I. Now that you have James Brown on, I'd like to ask you whether or not James Brown should think that a black man should get involved in entertainment, or either he should go into a field of business or commerce or one of the other fields. Now, certainly I realize the fact that we have to get involved in things that are important to us. But could you have James to comment on this, please?
Well, I'd say this. We've had a lot of performers that have made it big, but it's kind of hard to maintain your pride and dignity as an entertainer unless you can control yourself. Now, I'm one of the only entertainers, I guess, that I really can put my finger on that still has control of himself.
Right.
So you better try business.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Bye, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, you should know, of course, that James Brown is both an entertainer and a businessman. And when I mean businessman, I'm talking about stock market, I'm talking about real estate investment, I'm talking about investments of all types. He has a diversified portfolio, and he is a businessman, and he's a showman. And as a result of being in show business, he has been able to give other people jobs. So he has combined the two. And we'll be right back after this next message.
Doublemint adds to your fun. Double's fun for everyone. Double freshness, smoothness too. You will love it, millions do. Makes your mouth feel fresh and clean after meals and in between. Doublemint adds to your fun. Doublemint chewing gum.
Yes, you'll love the double fresh taste and double smooth chewing goodness of Doublemint gum. That's why we say that chewing Doublemint doubles the pleasure of everything you do. So remember,
Doublemint adds to your fun. Double pleasure all in one. So delicious, great to chew. Treat yourself and your friends too. Tastes so good and lasts so long. Get some soon, you can't go wrong. Doublemint adds to your fun. Doublemint chewing gum.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Black Dignity. And some of you, unfortunately, although we've been moving the calls very well, some of you will not be able to call in. And each Sunday afternoon, after the Black Dignity program is over, we usually go down to a program we call All Points West. And we just get a little family hour together and have a band and sit and talk and ask more questions and give our guests an opportunity to talk to more people. And we have canceled out All Points West this Sunday afternoon because we're telling everyone in the Bay Area, white, black, Oriental, everyone, if you want to see a human dynamo filled with intellectual soul, buttressed with rhythmic patterns borrowed from the motherland of Africa, you can't miss tonight. The Coliseum is convenient, a lot of parking. Get there early. I'm telling you, there is nothing in the world like it. Many white people who listen to this show, James, you don't know this, but we tell white people, I don't want them to call in. I only want black people calling in. You don't hear that brother over there telling them that we don't want to be prejudiced. But on this show, if all the white people called in, some white person would say, what you Negroes need is to get an education. And brother's going to get mad and say, well, if you get your foot off my neck, I would get an education. They're going to argue back for a whole hour, and I'm going to get tired.
That's right.
So what I say is, white people, just be quiet. I want you to listen. That's how we got the #1 ratings. You watch it, but let the black man educate. Let the black man talk. And as a result of it, in the course of the program, there'll be a brother who's going to call in and say, you know what, we need education.
But by the same token, excuse me for cutting you off, Mr. Warden, when the white listen, they'll get an education.
That's right.
Because they'll get to know the black.
That's right. And that's the only way. Just be quiet and listen. And so when the brother calls in and said, Don, we need an education, then the white people say, you know something, their black people think just like I do. Yeah. And that way they recognize the true merit of the black community and its strength. Be there tonight. Now, white people, you hear me? Black people, you hear me? Everyone at the Coliseum, because I'm going to come there tonight with a special natural. And I want to be seen with my thick lips and my wide nose and my black skin. I don't wear this for nothing. I want to be seen. All right, will you help me show off tonight? I'm going to look for you at the Coliseum.
Black living color.
Hello, this is Donald Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I'd like to ask Mr. Brown a question, please.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Brown, I'd like to know on what basis do you think that the black people can strive in the entertainment business?
Well, it seems that everybody really stoned on the entertainment world. It's all right, but I wouldn't advise you to try to be a performer because it's too much luck. You look at me and think of all the performers are forgotten now. And we don't want to get into something that can be easily forgotten. Like I tell my kids, you know, I don't want them to be entertainers. They want to be like their father, but I don't want them to be entertainers because just too much luck depends upon that. You got to be almost a magician, you know, and magicians just don't really exist. It's just another form of fantasy. So forget about it.
Thank you very much for your call. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello, Don.
Yes, sir.
With all due respect to James Brown, I'd like to direct this question to you.
All right.
I'd like to know why, when panels are constructed to discuss problems in the ghetto, why aren't you ever invited to these different talk shows on television? And why, when they are constructed and the people are talking, why isn't the name of the Afro-American Association ever mentioned?
Well, I think one problem is that the Afro-American Association and myself, we don't jive. I'm not interested in a lot of unnecessary debates. I'm not interested in calling people names. You call me black and I call you a racist, and we sit down all day and all week, and when we're finished, we keep calling each other names. I'm not interested in spending all my time hating, because one day I performed an experiment. I learned this in college. You must experiment, read, and think. So I said, I'm going to try it. So I got and put my hand in my pocket and found out I had 5 cents. So I said, I'm going to go to the mirror and hate all the white people in the world for at least 30 seconds.
Hello?
I hated and hated and hated and hated 30 seconds. I said, Don, hate some more. I hated and hated and hated another 30 seconds. Don, hate some more. Have a field day. I hated for a whole 30 minutes, and I opened up my hand, and there was still 5 cents there. So I recognized that hate doesn't produce anything. So I decided that what I was going to commit myself to my race was production. I'm not going to waste time hating. I want to know, where am I going to be next year? Where am I going to be 2 years from now? Where am I going to be 5 years from now? And some people don't like that on panels because they want to keep calling each other names. When you have a program, then you stop calling names and start working. You get your hands dirty. It means sweeping up streets. It means going down to Soulville saying, let's put up a factory. You can't be jiving no more. You can't be philosophizing, talking about epistemology and metaphysics. It means hard, concrete work. And some people don't want that. They want poverty programs to try to jive people and say, we're going to give you a little more money this year, a few more cents next year. We're not interested in that. We want practical programs, and that's what we stand for. And the reason that some people don't want to hear this is that they know it will produce categorical progress for the black men in America, and it will produce progress for America. They're not interested in that. So all we can say is we're going to take the television and give our program, all right?
One thing I'd like to add a comment to that, too. It seems that every time a black man is placed in a position where he can do some good, he's always a man who picked by the white, you know. And this is a thing where you see why they wouldn't pick Brother Don, because he wouldn't do it the way they wanted, you understand? That's our American politicians. That's not a black politician.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back after this next message. And in the meantime, call all your friends and tell them that we have a spectacular in our own way. Ladies and gentlemen, after this message, we'll be right back.
KGO People-to-People Radio is on the air. KGO Radio, bringing news and conversation programming to the people of Northern California. KGO, in the air, watching the highways, on the streets, capturing the life and spirit of San Francisco and the Bay Area. KGO, out with the people, reflecting the personality and attitudes of a cosmopolitan city. On the telephone, KGO's communicators probing opinions of concerned, in-touch listeners and unorthodox thinkers alike. KGO on the town, expressing the joy, fun, fear, and heartache of a big city's night people. KGO Radio 81, the voice of the city and its environs, listening, answering, observing, reporting. You have to stay in touch every day on KGO Radio 81.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Black Dignity. And as our custom every Sunday afternoon, we take a little time out to go into black history. This Sunday afternoon, we have selected for our Black Dignity hero of the past, Alexander Dumas. Alexander Dumas was born in 1802, and he died in 1870. He died at the time that the country of Italy was being unified, at the time the country of Germany was being unified. Alexander Dumas came into Paris around 1827. He didn't have very much money, and he came there, and people kind of looked at him, but they noticed him. And you know why they noticed him? Because Alexander Dumas was one of the first men in Paris that we know anything about who wore natural. They described him as having long hair, said it was kinky, and he walked through the streets with a smile. The brother was happy. And Alexander Dumas decided that he wanted to write. He wanted to capture ideas and enable large numbers of people to share these ideas. So this black man began to write, and in the course of his writing, he wrote over 200 plays and romantic historical novels about France. Over 200. He also put out a newspaper, and he traveled to Italy, traveled to Russia because he wanted information to write about. Alexander Dumas is probably best known for two main stories. Some of you watch television day after day and did not know that a black man produced these stories. The story, The Count of Monte Cristo, by Alexander Dumas. The story, The Three Musketeers, was written by a black man, Alexander Dumas. And because of his great contribution, we nominate him as our Black Dignity Hero of the past. Our Black Dignity Hero of the present, we have to introduce by showing people in the community. And I'm going to call out the first gentleman to help me. His name is Mr. Washington. And Mr. Washington is a young brother who has his natural, stand over here right next to me. And this young brother goes to school. And he says that he is studying hard and he's getting good grades. He wants to develop his mind. And because he has this feeling, we need him here. Brother, thank you for helping me out. We have our next brother, Mr. Coombs. And this brother talked to me today and he said, Brother Don, he said, I used to go to school and just mess around. He said, I wasn't paying any attention to anything. And he said that one day I heard a record. And the record said, don't be a dropout. And I went and talked to my mother and said, Mommy, I'm not only going to not be a dropout, I'm going to develop my mind. And we need him to help us today. And then we have a gentleman, Mr. Raymond Dobard, who in the music field is a giant promoting records. But what you don't know, that he very recently has decided that he wanted to fly higher. And you'll be reading about it very shortly, the Afro-American Airlines. To my knowledge, the first black airlines in America started the president, Mr. Raymond Dobard. Next gentleman, Mr. Bill Johnson, who went to the University of California with that same feeling, the same fervor that something must be done. He kind of helped us out a lot in the Afro-American Association because he came down and told us about finance. This was one of the first black finance managers in the Bay Area. He was a manager of a finance company. And many of our people were getting gypped, paying too much, and they were just messing over us, and we didn't know what to do, so we had to get someone with knowledge. Praying wasn't going to help, because we've been praying a long time. We had to have the knowledge. So we got this gentleman who had the knowledge, and he taught us. And then he told us, let each one teach one. After that, he went to the University of California and helped the athletes when there was a dispute at the University of California. He was instrumental. He helped tutoring program that from all over the United States, they're copying now. This is the gentleman that did it, and he has a part to play. And then the next brother is named Bob Presley. And this is a brother who is really out of sight. And he's a man that I admire a great deal, and I'll tell you why. At the University of California, when I met Bob Presley, there was a dispute over his hair. They said the coach said he had to cut his hair because they didn't understand it. The hair to them represented someone who was threatening, someone who was challenging authority. And I told Bob, before I even got involved, I said, man, why is your hair that long? I didn't encourage him at all. And he said, well, man, it is like an identification card. And you go into service and you get to the gate and they say, who are you? You show them the card. He said, my hair was my identification badge. But the most amazing thing is when the controversy developed, they kicked him off the basketball team, University of California, their best player. They kicked him off and he came back on the team. But the thing that really amazed me was that when he walked over that campus, hundreds of people stared at him. Some wanted to sympathize, some didn't like him. But nevertheless, whether they were sympathetic or not, those stared. I stopped by and I said, Bob, why don't you stay home, man? You don't have to go through all that. He said, no, Don, if I'm going to be a man, I'm going to have to go to class because I'm at the University of California primarily for an education. Athletics is secondary. My mind is first. The brother majors in journalism. And after the dispute got more and more intense, the brother they said, well, we don't have to worry about him because he's going to flunk out of school. He has a D average. He won't be back. The brother at the end of the quarter came up with a B average, 3.2. He said, because I have a mission, so I try harder. But the thing that amazed me, and as I looked at him last night, I was really shocked because I think I can tell this very frankly. Many of the referees discriminate against Bob Presley. They call foul shots when he commits no fouls. And people are just beating him to death, hitting his hand, slapping him all in the face. They don't call foul shots. They don't say foul. Now, my temperament is such that I couldn't take it. See, I would say referee, coach, fans, me and you. Now, the next man to hit me is going to be you and you. But week after week, he stays there. And I can see the perseverance, the determination. And that's what it is. He's right. I'm wrong. He got the guts. I'm half a little coward in that respect. Not too many respects. But he's doing it. And even though last night they fouled the man, he would have made the foul shot and won the game. Took the game away from him. But it hasn't changed his personality. That's guts. That's strength. You don't need a gun. You don't need a knife. It's inside. All of these people here, as well as all the black players at Cal who've been distinguishing themselves. I'm going to have everyone in here. I just singled him out because he's the biggest. And in order to have a big program this Sunday afternoon, I wanted big people. And the reason all these people are here is because these persons reflect our dignity hero of the present. Give me 1 minute and let me tell you what I mean. I was young one time and I grew up. And I used to listen to Joe Louis on the radio every time he fought. Hello, Mom, I'm glad I win. That's what he said. And my mother used to make cake every time Joe Louis fought and said, son, this is a great man, a strong man. I said, Mother, I can understand that, but I wish he would say something more than I'm glad I win. And then as I got a little older, I began to seek around for heroes, and I didn't have any. And I looked around and I said, well, you know, I want to be like someone, but I don't really know a person. So I was a little fortunate. I went to college and I got a chance to go to India, and I traveled in Egypt, and I traveled in Europe, and I just buffaloed my way in to see influential people. And I talked to Nehru. And Prime Minister Nehru in India said that I don't respect the Negro race. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, because I haven't done anything, not really. He said, I can respect Africans, but the Negro is given up. 1957. That hurt me, but I wouldn't let him know it. And in Egypt, and in Europe, and Latin America, and the West Indies. And I said, what our race needs is someone who we can believe in. Everyone, whether you're young or whether you're old, we can believe in. And I looked at the politicians. When I was much younger, I was 16, I was on the radio. I had my own radio show. So I got a chance to meet all the big leaders, the Adam Clayton Powells and the big preachers and the big politicians. I was 16, and they thought it was interesting that a young man would be interested to find out what life was all about. And after I talked to all these men, something inside of me said, no, that's not it. I admired them, I respected them, but it was something missing. 1964, Mr. Raymond Dobbart introduced me to James Brown. And I went to Sweet's Ballroom and listened to James, and we were talked in the dressing room, and James Brown said something to me, and I said, James, you are the leader. You're the first man I met in my life that I know has it inside. You got the guts, you got what Presley has, you got what Johnson has, you got what Dobbart has, you got what Mr. Coombs has, you got what Mr. Washington has. We can't lose. Can't lose. I looked right in his eye. Said, James Brown, we got a leader now, brother. For 300 years. Last one was Marcus Garvey. And recently I was in Alabama. The doctor told me that I had 6 hours to live. I was gonna die. Me gonna die. And the young lady named Marilyn came into the house, and I had a Jet magazine. I said, before I die, I want to look at Jet. James Brown was on the cover in the Santa Claus suit. We showed the cover to the young lady, 2 years old. She said, Mommy, soul brother. Soul brother. In the cradle, they identified. James then took something that has never been done, and I'll stop. But you know, the rhythm of our race has always been very great, the musical expression. We get together. White people taught us Amazing Grace, but when we got together, we changed that song. We put something extra to it, you see? And we've always done this, in keeping alive our African heritage. But what we did in the course of developing. James Brown symbolized everything in the church. The groans, the moans. People say he's screaming. No, you don't understand. You're culturally deprived. I know what he's talking about. He's talking sometime when a soul brother saw a beautiful black woman walk down the street. He just screamed, said, my God. James captured that. And sometime when a brother got a paycheck, he screamed. James captured that. These are the sounds that you hear. But more than that, these feelings from Africa came forth out of James. Then the great crossroad. James had it made. He didn't need us. James could have done like some other black musicians and changed his band, made it all white, and went on. Las Vegas, the world. James said no. And James took that rhythm. See, he could have changed the rhythm and made it sound like someone else. The Supremes. He didn't do that. He kept it funky. Kept it with the soul. Then he gave the message out. He said, now white and black to the whole world. Everyone can learn from this, but you learn from it from the black man's perspective. That's all. We're not discriminating. We just take what is black and then teach the world. Don't be a dropout. The Beatles have never done it. There's no rhythm and blues group in the world that ever took culture and gave that message in that way. And many of the young white people who are taking acid and taking LSD and jumping off bridges because they're looking for direction, this man gave it. The existentialists who have read Camus and Sartre and said that it's all meaningless, in soi, en la pour soi, the man gave it to us. The young child, the old adult. This is the most powerful man in America. And February 4th, when you look at Look magazine cover and see this man on there, and they say, is James Brown the most powerful man in America? You say you heard it first on Black Dignity. The last thing I'm going to say is that we are now prepared to share him. At one time, we wouldn't share James. We weren't going to let no white people get near him. If you happen to eavesdrop and hear his records, all right. But we wasn't going to share him. Now that we have gotten with them and we all together, we're going to share them with the world. We're going to take those records now, we're going to let all the white stations play all those records so that the whole world can recognize. And we want them in the movies. Elvis Presley was in the movies. Gene Autry was in the movies. Roy Rogers was in the movies. And they don't look like me. I want to go to movies and see James Brown. And my kids do. And everyone here does. And we're going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to our local Black Dignity hero. I'm going to ask Mr. James Brown to come right out here. This is the man that we're so proud of, Mr. James Brown, to the Black Dignity and his audience. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this message.
Medico, the medical arm of care, is a volunteer organization that brings modern medical skills to the underprivileged peoples of the world. Since it was founded in 1958, more than 1,000 Medico doctors, nurses, and technicians have treated sick people in some 20 developing countries. Medico personnel in these countries have taught modern medical techniques to hundreds of local doctors, nurses, and technicians. Such training has enabled them to take over total operations when Medico teams leave. Medico, a triumphant affirmation of man's compassion and concern for the family of man. Medico, financed solely by citizens who care.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about movies, and what you may not know that Mr. James Brown turned down several contracts for the movies, and I would like to know why. I'm blowing all this and saying, James, you got to go in the movies, and you turn it down. Tell me something, brother.
Well, if I don't get a chance to be a credit to the race and play in a movie, the money doesn't mean anything. It's the idea of being able to project black dignity and pride and respect and come out as a man. I don't want to get killed in the movie. I want to live all the way through it, and I want to have a leading role, and I don't want to end up a villain or come cross left-handed. I want the kids to walk out smiling.
Well, James, I'd like, as a friend and a brother, to make a suggestion. And my suggestion is that, as far as movies is concerned, I would like to suggest that a movie be made of Bojack.
I second that emotion.
And because you were a boxer at one time,
that's right.
Bojack helped train you. And Bojack raised more money than any black man in America for the war during Second World War II. In order to see him fight at Madison Square Garden, you had to buy a war bond. He raised more money than any single person. And I think that during this movie, Bojack, played by James Brown, seeing James skip rope, jab, shadow box, with a black woman by his side, describing how he overcame going into Madison Square Garden, the fans, and then to have him, like Sonny Liston, dance to the music of James Brown while he's skipping rope.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it would be a beautiful, beautiful thing, and if it happens, we're going to tell everyone on Black Dignity first. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to go back to the calls because I know you're getting mad because I'm taking your time, and I think you're right. Would you forgive me while we go to the next line? Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, okay. I'd like to...
Yes, turn your television down. You're on the air.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Yes. I'd like to address my question to Mr. James Brown.
All right, what's your question?
Okay, my question is, I'd like to ask him his views towards the death of Martin Luther King and also his present views towards Elbridge Cleaver.
All right, Mr. Brown?
Well, what can you say about Dr. King? But he was the greatest, and everything that he stood for, we're going to keep it standing, and we'll never let it die. It's like Mr. Warden said, the same thing for him as we gave to Lincoln and Washington and all of the white heroes. And as far as Mr. Elbridge Cleveland is concerned, he's a black man, he's doing his thing, and whatsoever he do, he's representing you and me. So either you be with him or you be by yourself.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes. I'd like to say, first of all, my name is Kathy Cartwright, and I'm black and I'm proud. And I'd like to compliment both you and James on the wonderful thing that you're doing for the Black Dignity, because we are moving on now.
Thank you very much, sister. We appreciate it very much. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I would like to ask James Brown, talk to James Brown.
Yes. What's your question?
In the days that James Brown was going to school, I wanted to ask him, was it easier for him to get an education then, or would he like to come back now and get an
All right, that's a good question.
Well, if I had the chance, I'd rather now, because then you were just passing the time. Now you got something going.
Thank you very much for your call. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello?
Yes.
Warden, I'd like to speak to James Brown.
All right, go right ahead.
James Brown, I'm 11 years old, and I'd like to know why you won't write a book about black people and their soul and their culture.
Well, I'm thinking very strongly of doing it now. One thing I need is a little time. Now, if all the black people get together and do their thing, I have a little bit more time left.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I would like to address this question to Mr. James Brown.
All right, go right ahead.
Well, welcome to the fair city of San Francisco, for one thing. And another thing is Roy Vincent Harris, in this month's edition of Look, said the ambition of every black person is to be white. Now, several years ago, Mr. Brown did wear process, and these times are changing. And I'd like to know his viewpoints on does every black person appear in the entertainment world to be black? And another thing, how can a young person break into the entertainment world?
All right, thank you for your question.
Thank you.
First you said, is she still on?
No, she's listening on the television so she can hear your answer.
Oh, my views, as far as a black man being in entertainment, there were a time when you had to do different things to get through the door because it was so controlled, which is more controlled now, but there's an awareness. Now, the main thing about getting in show business for a black entertainer, you've got to get your business straight. You see, you got a lot of the Donald Wardens around, the James Brown, the people that is aware and hip to the contracts that you sign, and you don't have to sign your life away. Then you don't have to be white to come through. I had to do a lot of things to make it, but my mind was always together. So you see where I'm at now.
Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
I'd like to ask Mr. Brown a question.
All right, go right ahead.
Mr. Brown, I'd like to know, how did you feel about your last show you did to Oakland Auditorium with all the violence they had up there? And I wanted to know if would it be the same way if they come up to the Coliseum and do the same thing, but they get in free? My name is Mike.
The question is, last year, there are a number of people who were let in free at the Oakland Auditorium, and would the same thing happen again? And I can answer and tell you, no. Everyone this time is going to have a ticket. We want everyone to come. There's not going to be any difficulties there, but everyone buy a ticket and listen to Soul Brother number 1. Thank you very much. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, I would like to ask Mr. Brown a question.
All right.
I would like to know what Mr. Brown's opinion is on a white band playing soul.
A white band playing soul?
Right.
All right. Mr. Brown?
Well, my idea, my comments on it is they want to get into what's happening. And there were a time when black entertainers played country and western. I'm sure you remember that.
All right, we'll take another call. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Hello?
Yes?
I speak to James Brown?
Yeah, yes.
James Brown?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite record?
Don't be a dropout.
James Brown?
Yes.
James Brown?
Uh-huh.
Could I get in your sleep? I'm 5 years old.
You come to the show.
Huh?
What'd she say?
I didn't hear. I didn't hear what she said. Something she want to do. Thank you anyway for calling. We're sorry, but I know it was good.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to ask a favor. Every now and then I get myself into a jam, and I did again today. We promised some young people that we would see to it that they got to the James Brown concert. And these young people didn't have the money for tickets, but I told them they couldn't go unless their parents went. I told them I'd pay for the tickets, but the parents had to go with them. And so we have a list of people who called us, and we're going to see that they go. But we want to chauffeur them. We want to be chauffeured from their homes. Some live in West Oakland, and some of them don't have cars. We want to chauffeur them from their homes right to the Coliseum and chauffeur them back again. So I need some of the people, families. It doesn't have to be one person. A family, you're going to the concert, stop by my office at 630, 57th and Market, because we need you to pick up some people. 57th and Market. Now, you think that I'm being imposing, then you're correct. 57th and Market, come by my office so I can direct you to pick up some people to take them to the concert, because we want everyone to see what we're talking about today. Hello, this is Don Warden. You're on Black Dignity.
Yes, Don. I got a question for Mr. Brown.
All right, what's your question?
Last year, I saw him in Vietnam, and I'd like to ask him about the discrimination that he ran into over there, because a lot of people in the States, they don't realize this sort of thing's happening.
Well, I tell you, I had to fight all the way. I had to fight a year and a half to get over there. And the thing that really burned me up, they said that no black entertainers wanted to go, and I'd been trying for a year and a half. So when I got a chance to go, I carried 22 musicians over. They wouldn't let me carry my whole outfit. And then when we got to Japan, I had to drop 14 and carry 8 with me, which gave me a 5-piece band, 1 female vocalist, comedian, and myself. I had to do all my own, handle all my bags, do all my pressing and everything, with the help of Miss Marva Whitney. She was very encouraging. But we ran into a lot of problems. I had some things I thought I was going to have to go into my thing with a few of the captains and lieutenants over there, but I didn't want nobody to help me. I was going to take care of myself.
All right, we're going to have to go because the show is over. Thank you very much for calling, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tonight. We'll be back next week on Black Dignity with Mr. Brian Rumford and another guest. Please be with us.